Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. We're on the road. We're at BK Strength, and I've got my we have three out of the four of the Agoge with us. We got Byron and Josh. You guys know Josh. Byron, first time caller, long time listener. Yeah, actually, he doesn't listen to the podcast.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I've never. I work like a fucking slave, bro. when do I watch podcasts?
Is that my fault?
No, it's my fault because I like making money and I like changing lives. But fuck. Anyway.
Anyways, so yeah, guys, welcome to the podcast. If you, as always, please hit that subscribe button, hit the follow button, and you'll see reasons why. Because if you like getting punched in the face, verbally and assaulted verbally and audibly, then you're gonna love this podcast. This is gonna be a good podcast for you. So before we kick off, you told me, and we can edit this out if we need to. You told me yesterday. I have something to tell you right before the podcast before we kick it off to piss you off.
Yeah.
Send it.
Oh yeah. So we were redirecting traffic from the Battle Ready page to the Agoge page, right?
Yes.
And I know how much you love Mustache, and he just sent us an invoice for $450 to redirect a page from one site to another site.
I'm gonna fucking say this guy. Are you kidding me?
Swear to God. Just to redirect traffic, $450. It's a fucking flick of a switch, bro.
That guy's got a great business model.
He's phenomenal.
He's like,
we're in the wrong business.
If I think about you, I'm charging you money.
Yes. And it's obscene amounts of money. It's not just Mickey Mouse shit. Like to flick a switch, $450.
To actually do something, 10 grand.
Yeah. Build a page that doesn't convert, 15. Fuck you.
15. Long story short, there's a guy that built a page for another one of my companies, and he sold himself very well. It didn't convert. I think it made $200. Cost me about $15K.
Can we talk about how common that is, though?
Yeah.
About people overselling themselves and
before they even know who the fuck you are, just full send.
Full send.
So like the amount of people that overpromise and underdeliver on fucking everything that they do is actually obscene to me. The amount of conversations you'll have where they will tell you that they can do this, and they send you this laundry list of how awesome they are. Fat John, another example. And when it comes to actually delivering, nothing, no results. And then they wonder why they're fucking fat, why they fucking suck. But it's like, bro, because all you do is talk. All you do is move your mouth. Just shut the fuck up and actually let your results and actions speak on your behalf. And I think that's where most people that are actually successful differentiate themselves, because they actually do the fucking work. They might talk too, but they talk in alignment with their output. And then the other fucking clown boys who rent their Lamborghinis and rent their fucking mansions, like, do so that they can get a nice fucking, like, Instagram shot, but they've got nothing to show for it in real life.
There's no actual backing behind it.
Yeah, full of shit.
Yeah, why would you rent that or buy a cold plunge? Like, I'm gonna spend $5,000 on a cold plunge to talk about the scenario you're talking about. I'm gonna listen to this, Josh. I'm gonna spend $5,000 on a cold plunge, set it up, pay for the electricity. I have one. That shit ain't cheap.
I got one.
Yeah, electricity bill goes up.
Yeah, in Hawaii for sure.
Yeah, right.
I want to get solar panels just for that.
Just for that, right?
Run it directly off of the solar.
Yeah, dude, to spend $5,000 for a cold plunge and then get in for literally 15 seconds for an Instagram reel to post and then bounce out.
My 14-year-old daughter will get in there for 6 minutes at 46 degrees.
But then let me go ahead and tell you on my next story about how you need to do hard shit and how I'm going to coach you on being a fucking savage.
Yeah.
And be the hardest worker in the room. And like every other rock fucking motivational speech that he can come out with at any one time.
So I feel like, not that I'm triggered about this subject, but I feel like, damn, like I get in there and I do 3 minutes or I do 5 minutes and I'm like, God, I'm a pussy.
Yeah.
Right? And I do all the same things. I say all the same things, but I actually live it, right? I'm 41 years old. I'm still killing myself in my life in a way. I mean, granted, don't get me wrong, I have a beautiful life, I have a beautiful family, everything is living it. It's just, we choose things the hard way.
Yeah.
We do things the hard way because it benefits our result. And I tell guys that are coming into the Agoge, I'm like, listen, this is not going to be easy. Essentially, your life is going to be harder. By joining the Agoge, your life will be harder. But it will be exponentially more rewarding, and you'll be happy, and you won't be depressed, and you won't have anxiety, and all these different things. So how do you, because I listen to these stories like you're talking about, and the people that we're talking about, this fakeness that people are like, oh, you're going to change your life, and you're going to be hard, and then it's all bullshit. How do we differentiate, like how do you know, how does somebody vet? How do you vet us versus that shit?
That's the downside to the whole thing. You can't.
Because those guys have millions of followers. They're showing Lambos and it's all fucking bullshit. And we know who they are.
They're built on a pyramid of lies.
Yes.
And it's like, but this makes me question humanity as a whole. Because how many people actually do the research around who they hire as a coach before they do hire someone as a coach?
Yeah.
Or do they just buy into the person that can sell the best?
The latter.
Because, yeah, so if you get on a call with me and I just overpromise you the fucking moon, and I tell you that, hey, Nick, I'm going to create another fucking 7 figures in your life every year if you follow my program. Because that's what I did for me. Meanwhile, my program and my success is built on the fact that I'm selling you on a high-ticket item to pay me to look like I know what I'm doing.
But you actually haven't done it.
I don't live that life.
Right.
But I do the 15 seconds so that you can see it. And then I go to the gym and I spray fucking oil on me so that I look like I'm sweaty. And then...
and ladies and gentlemen, well, I say ladies to the 6 of you that... Is it 6, Mario? Are we still at 6? 6. Yeah, there's 6 ladies that listen to this podcast.
All of which are in the...
All of which are...
They listen to us 3 times a week. You're welcome.
Internal to our network already.
But to you gentlemen, that's a real thing, man. It's happening out there. It like crushes me. I think that so much to the point to where I'm like, the way that we want to tell people to get into the Agoge now is like, you shouldn't. It's hard.
Yeah. I'm going to hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
I'm going to be so brutally honest with you that you're probably going to think I'm the biggest dick on earth. And I probably am in your life, but I'm the only person that actually gives a shit about you.
This is a good point. So, we've talked about this a lot.
Yeah.
How many?
I have no compassion.
Yeah.
Fucking spiel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is like all the people we had so one of our tier one clients, Tim, he was over 300 pounds. He was over 300 pounds. He was like gray. He had that like real unhealthy.
52 maybe, somewhere there.
Yeah, up in his 50s, and he saw a guy a year later after he was with the Agoge, and he had dropped like tons of weight. He's down to like 230. I mean, he's like 6'4", business owner, doing well, beautiful family. So he saw a friend of his, and he goes, I think I've told this on the podcast before, but he goes, Tim, man, you're looking great, man. Last time I saw you, I honestly thought I wouldn't see you again. I thought you were gonna die. Didn't say fuck all.
Just let him be on his way.
Let him fucking
you're on
go
your
and
deathbed.
die.
Yeah.
Like,
just
hey, man,
go.
I'm okay with you
And
dying
that's kind of my whole point with this whole thing. Is like all these dudes, they don't say shit about it when you're overweight. You're flirting with the receptionist. You're living like, well, it's none of my business. But all of a sudden, it's either, oh man, you talk about it after the fact, like, oh, I thought you were gonna die. Well, that's probably the time to say something. Yeah, you might piss someone off, like we do. We're like, hey, I'm gonna be honest with you, but it's not because it feels like I'm being an asshole, but the reality is like, I'm the only one that gives a shit enough to be honest with you. And if you can't take that, that's on you, that's not on me.
Yeah. My job is to tell you the truth. Your job is to decide whether you get offended by it or not.
Yeah.
You need solid accountability.
And then the second...
people who are going to call you out.
Yeah.
And like Byron just said, like, I'm going to tell you the truth. That's probably my biggest fault. Is I'm way too truthful. It's done well for me, but it's also, kind of put me in the doghouse at times. Yeah. But fuck, like, I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, it's going to come out. It's going to be all truthful. But it's out of love and compassion.
Because I want you to do better.
To be able to do better.
Yeah, I want you to do better. And the second thing that pisses me off, so that's the first one, right? Is they don't say nothing when it's over. And then afterwards they come back and they go, oh yeah, man, I thought you were gonna die. Really happy for you.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Thank God you turned it around.
Thank God you turned it around. Yeah.
Not thanks to you fucking dick. Fuck you, bro.
We will not be hanging out anymore.
Yeah, fuck that.
And then the second one is we've got some clients that were upwards of 300-400 pounds that are now like jacked and ripped, right? Making money, living life. And then now the people are like, oh, like they're talking shit about their diet. They're talking shit about their weight loss. Like, they're like, how much weight do you really want to lose? But it's like, when I was 350 fucking pounds, you had jack and all shit to say about the burger and fries that I was stuffing in my face. But now that I'm eating like chicken and greens, you know, spinach, you're like, oh, are you anorexic? Do you have an eating disorder? You know, this is like,
we're fucked. We're broken. It's like the whole model is broken. So I was over 300 pounds, morbidly obese, kidney failure, liver issues, high blood pressure, pre-diabetic. The list goes on.
Well, hold on. I want to talk about all that. What do you say to those people? Like, how do you respond to the individuals who don't have fuck all to say when you're shoving basically death down your throat and you're living like shit, but all of a sudden you get healthy and you're like, this is not a sustainable. They're talking shit about it. This is not a sustainable life. You have an eating disorder. Blah blah blah. You know, all the things that people say, and it really, to me, it's more about the individual.
Yeah.
It's about they're like, you're making them feel inadequate. You're
insecurities.
Their own
insecurities. They don't have enough of a drive to make that change.
Well, and you're highlighting to them the work that they refuse to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So honestly, I used to get fucking fired up, and I would like shoot from the hip, and I was like burning bridges and firing, and it got to the point where I was like, do you know what, man? Would I trade my worst day for their best day? If not, I don't give a fuck about your opinion. Like, if you came to me and you said, hey man, this is what I think, and Byron, you're fucking this up, I would pay attention. Josh came to me, I'd pay attention. Bedros comes to me, I pay attention.
Yeah.
The fucking dickhead on Instagram who has shit to say to me every day, no fucks given. Hey man, keep running your mouth. I'm gonna keep running my play, and I promise you now I'm better for running my play than you are for running your mouth. So how about you just shut the fuck up and copy what I do? Because you're such a tight cunt that you can't pay the money to be a coaching client anyway. So I tell you what, just copy what I do and you'll win.
So if you are that person that's, you know, getting those responses, you just tell them to fuck off, basically.
It got to the point where I just stopped paying attention. I stopped listening. Doesn't matter.
What about in person? People you know, family, friends.
I just edit conversation.
Yeah,
dude. When
Depends
I was
on the individual.
Exit stage left.
Like
so like when I was over 300 pounds, right? Definitive points in this game is I said to myself like, okay, I'm gonna clean my shit up, and it was like a Wednesday afternoon, 4 p.m. and I had done the tomorrow play so many times. Diet starts tomorrow. Diet starts on Monday. And fucking Monday would come and I'm like feeling like shit and I'm like, nah, next Monday or tomorrow. Because I don't know about you, man, but I would go and I'm like, okay, I'm going to clean out all of the ice cream. I'm going to clean out all of the bullshit food. And I would scoff it all the night before because I'm like, well, I'm not
I don't want to throw it away.
Like a 10,000 calorie night. And then the next day you feel like a fucking dirty rag and you're like, oh, bro, this is bullshit. So you wake up and you're like, nah, tomorrow.
So I can't do it.
No, I don't feel good today. I can't start it
shit.
today. I want to start tomorrow.
You don't feel good.
And I ran that play for like 18 months, dude. And then it was literally a Wednesday, 4 p.m. type of thing. And I'm like, dude, I have to fix this shit. I start now. Like, there's no more tomorrow. Tomorrow's what's killing me. I start now. I make good choices from this point forward. And then that Saturday, we went to my aunt and uncle's house. And I was like trying to be good. I was trying to make good food choices and whatever. And my aunt was like making me feel bad for it. She's like, oh, so you don't like my cooking anymore? It's like, no, I'm just trying to make better food choices. I'm just trying to be healthier. I'm trying to like.
So right out the gate, you already got like.
Oh, fucking day 4. I'm already getting hit with resistance, bro. And she's like, what are you doing this for? You look fantastic. I'm like, I don't look fantastic. I'm 300 pounds. I've got kidney issues, liver issues, high blood pressure.
I'm probably on the verge of pre-diabetic.
And literally like 10 days ago, I was standing 47 floors up looking over the ledge thinking I should backflip. So I'm not good. Like, I'm not fine. So stop telling me I'm fucking fine because I'm not fine.
Right.
And then I'm getting hit with this fucking barrage of bullshit and she's taking it personally. And I'm like, nothing I'm doing impacts you in the slightest. I'm just trying to make some good choices for Byron. Yeah. Because Byron feels like a fucking piece of shit. And 4 days ago, I stood in the mirror naked and I ripped myself apart and I looked at my bank account and I ripped my bank account apart and I'm like, okay, so everything is fucked. That's what we're at now. And I need to fix all of it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to fix all of it, but it's going to start with like fixing this because this is not okay. And when I fix this, this will come right. And then my bank account will reflect accordingly. Okay, so I ran the play. And then she's getting all offended and bullshitting me about how I'm like being a dick to her. I'm like, no, lady, I'm actually putting me first for the first time in like a decade. First time in a fucking decade, I'm
and
actually giving a shit about me.
Yeah, we'll get to this because, and you can't even take care of other people unless number one is taken care of.
Exactly. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
It's a trickle-down effect you were just talking about. I mean, you fixed your body, then you fixed your mind, then you fixed your bank account, your business, probably your relationships that you had with everyone.
Oh, I killed a lot of the
It
relationships.
just all started snowballing.
Yeah. Well, as soon as I stopped paying for all the drinks and I stopped paying for all of the other shit, all of a sudden the people that were there for a good time, because they knew I made good money as a consultant, all of a sudden they left. And it became very lonely.
Fade away because you were no longer beneficial to them.
Right. Oh, you can't come to my house and play on the indoor golfing range anymore. And oh, you don't get to come and watch in my cinema room anymore. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, fuck this guy. He's no good to me.
All right, that's good. Now you're talking about flashy shit. Let's go all the way back.
Okay.
So where's Byron from?
South Africa. Shithole. So born in South Africa, lived there for 18 years, got very lucky. Well, I don't know if it's lucky, but I was blessed to be gifted from a sporting perspective. So from 13 years old, started landing sponsorship deals, started getting paid to play.
You became a professional athlete.
Pretty much.
From what age?
It depends what you would define as a professional, but I played my first Premier League cricket game at 13 years old. Which in South Africa is kind of a big deal.
And just to clear it up, because I thought cricket was the thing with the balls and the little...
Croquet, yeah.
Croquet, not croquet.
Not croquet.
You weren't a professional...
No, I didn't stand and do this shit.
Yeah, that's not the game.
Not that game, a different game. It's Google it, it's a good game. But so got sponsorship deals, got to get free clothing, free equipment, and a bunch of stuff. And then that's slowly but surely progressed to where...
And this was in South Africa at the time? Okay.
And then by 16, 17 years old, I was getting contracts to play in the UK. So I'd follow the sun and I played cricket back and forth between South Africa and the UK for a good 4 years or so. And then fractured my back twice in 2 places and was an arrogant arsehole, thought I was untouchable. I was touchable and I could break, even though I thought I couldn't.
We all are until something happens.
Yeah, not so bulletproof after all. And doctor's like, dude, you fracture your back again, you probably will never walk. He's like, so that dream of representing your country and blah, 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 he's like, hard stop.
And what was your first initial thought?
Fuck. What now? I had no plan B. Plan A was the only plan I ran. I fucked around at school. I didn't pay attention. I'd go into math class, put my head on the desk and fall asleep because I knew at 2 o'clock school was over and I'd go and play cricket.
And that's what mattered.
That's all.
That's what they cared about.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The schools paid my school fees, so you don't get free school in South Africa. You pay for school. The school sponsored me to be there because I was playing for that school, and I'd get cherry picked from certain schools over time. And I went to 3 or 4 different high schools because they would just pay here's your school fees. We're going to do that. Now you come to this school and we'll pay your school fees. So that was plan A, plan B, and plan Z. It was all just that. And then when that disappeared, I had no financial aptitude. I had no idea what anything other than cricket was, because if I got
how old were you when you broke your back?
20,
your back?
23.
23 years old.
Yeah.
Damn.
I wrote that in my book.
Yeah.
I had a scenario where basically a 23-year-old, remember that?
Yeah.
Basically like a footballer. Like what happens when he basically pee-wee football, played football all the way up until he's 23.
Yeah.
All he knows is football.
Yeah.
Knee goes out, docs are like,
it's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Yeah, sorry, thanks for you, man. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
And you go from someone to no one overnight.
Yeah.
My entire identity.
And you were making
was
how much at that point?
It was ranging, but it was a good 6 figures. Anywhere from $2,000 a week.
To play a game.
Yeah, anywhere from $2,000 a week to $7,000-8,000 a week if I had a really good week. Yeah. So,
as a 23-year-old.
Yeah, and as much as I made, I spent.
Of course.
And more.
Yeah, of course.
Because baller. we like drinking in the clubs and playing a lot of golf.
And of course you're popular, so there's other
benefits.
To that, yeah.
Yeah, and that, and there
which also costs money.
Yes, and there's the motto of win or lose, you hit the booze. So it's doesn't matter whether we're winning or we're losing, we're celebrating. We're drowning our sorrows.
Either pleasure or pain.
Yeah, and it was bottles. It wasn't just I'll just get 1 gin and tonic, please. It's yeah, bring the bottles with the little fucking flary things in the top because you have to be a stud and flex and all that stupidity. And
how stupid does that seem now? This part of your life.
You know what's even more sad is that you tie yourself to that identity for so long to where you think that that's living.
That's real.
And then you
realize of something of substance.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it gets taken away and you realize that everything was a facade, and it was all just built on this what's it called? What's the sand that disappears? Quicksand.
Quicksand.
Yeah, it's like your entire.
Which, as a child,
is a legit fear.
I was a legit fear. I was like, quicksand's gonna be a problem.
One day I'm just gonna be walking on the beach and I'm gonna fucking disappear and it's a wrap for me.
Why was that way in the 80s and 90s? Quicksand was a thing.
Cartoons, man.
Yeah.
Like Looney Tunes or something.
Anyways.
Well, that and Indiana Jones. Didn't he get hit by quicksand too?
Yeah.
And that guy was a stud.
Yeah.
So if he can't get out of quicksand,
if Indy gets fucked by some quicksand, like I'm done. It's a wrap. Yeah.
So I was like, well, my entire life was built on quicksand, and it just gone. And I was like, well, we're broke.
What'd you do? What was the first move?
First move was to start talking to some people and find out what my connections had in terms of like availability for work. And everyone that is a gangster all of a sudden disappears very quickly. And you realize just how many people are real gangsters and how many people really just step up to the plate. And I think that's where my first like being pissed off with the talkers started really kicking off. Because when the shit hit the fan and I realized that cricket was no longer a thing for me and I started reaching out to my network, I had no network.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So it's all like, well, if you're not playing cricket and you're not coaching or you're not making me look good, you are no use to me. So see you later.
You don't matter.
Yeah, you're invisible.
You're replaceable.
100%. So
sound familiar, Josh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a military background. Same kind of game plan. If you're not going to smoke a couple people for me, we don't need you anymore.
Yeah.
So thankfully, a friend of mine ran a, what do you guys call it in America? A kill house? Where you kill like fuck tons of animals?
Yeah.
Slaughterhouse.
Slaughterhouse. Yeah.
Ran a slaughterhouse for geese, turkeys, and chickens.
Okay.
And he's like, hey man, like if you're good with it, like you can come and work in here for a couple weeks before Christmas. You'll make good money, especially if you're good at it, and that'll at least tide you over till Christmas. I was like, fair. I was a fucking machine. The first one was hard, second one a little less hard, and by the end of the first day, they had to tell me to slow down because I was just like, I just saw dollar signs run.
Like commission based? Like,
yeah, $2 a bird.
Oh.
Dude, I fucking smoked the shit out of those things.
They
couldn't keep up on the back end. I was sending them down so fast because all I saw was money. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't make money now. And for me, a good week is between obviously $2,000 and $8,000. So I'm like, fuck, bro, I got to kill like 500 birds.
I was going to say, how many chickens is that?
Right. I'm like, okay, run the play.
So how do you
smoking them?
So how are you killing them? Like what's the process?
You have this foot pedal thing with this wand. You touch it on the eye and you hit the foot pedal and it shocks them, so it stuns them. And then you just pull their neck down and you just cut their throats and you send it. So the birds are hanging upside down, feet in this thing, and they come in and they're like pissed. And they're not so pissed for very long because you shock them and you just slice them and you send them down.
It's like an assembly line, like a conveyor belt.
Yeah.
They're just coming and going.
Oh, they couldn't keep them coming fast enough for how quick I was getting through them. And yeah, end of the first day, the guy's like, bro, you need to slow down. Like, we can't keep up on the back.
We think we hired a serial killer.
Right, yeah. This guy's got a lot of pent-up aggression that needs to be handled. He's got issues. So that was my first, like, outside of cricket job, other than, like, I'd done bits and pieces. I painted houses, I landscaped. I did some stuff just for, like, extra cash from time to time. That was the first, like, job. And then I did that for, I think it was about 3 weeks, bundled together a lot of money. And then the same guy said to me, oh, he had a good friend that came to the US and he drove trucks from Texas to Montana and he would deliver farming equipment and mining equipment. I was like, well, I know how to drive. I'm going to apply. I got the job. I didn't even have a driver's license for the CDL.
So you need a CDL.
So were you in the UK or at this time, are you in the UK or South Africa?
The UK.
You're in the UK?
Yeah.
And then you applied for a U.S. job, driving trucks, with no U.S. driver's license,
correct,
and got
no
the job.
CDL, and got the job. I've been a bullshitter my whole life. Like,
welcome to America.
So I turn up, right? I'm in Texas. The guy fetches a bunch of us from the airport, and he's like, "You don't have a fucking CDL." I was like, "I don't even know what that is. I got a driver's license." What do you mean? He's like, "No, that's not good enough." He's like, "You're going to haul extremely long loads. You have to have a special license." I'm like, I don't have that. He's like, you have 3 days to study and pass. Otherwise, I'm putting you on the next plane out. And I used all my money now that I had left to come to the US. So obviously I'm foreign, right? So I have visas, I have immigration lawyers, I've got the flights, etc. to get you. So if he puts me on another plane home, I'm going home with NA dollars. Like,
you're Winchester.
oh yeah, we're banging trouble. So at this point, I had already decided I was going back to the UK anyway. I was going to get a degree. I wanted to be a financial consultant. I Googled highest paying job in London, and financial consultant came up. So I'm like, well, I can count. So I can consult.
Drive.
Yeah, like
without a CDL.
banks, all they do is count money, right? So I'm like, I can do that.
Yeah.
I count money for a long time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be a financial consultant, and reverse engineer that process. I needed a couple degrees. I needed a few diplomas and whatever. And I'm like, okay, fuck it. I can do that. All of that is easy. But I need the money to be able to do the degree.
To run
and I'm
it,
not
yeah.
going to study in South Africa because even if I got the degree in South Africa, I'd have to reset all the papers in the UK anyway. Doesn't make sense. So I basically pay twice for university. That's stupid. So I'm just going to do my degree in the UK. So land here, the dude's like, you got 3 days to pass all these tests. Byron didn't sleep. He's like studying books and shit, and went and did my CDL, passed.
That's wild because there are guys.
There's like 8 tests too. You sit like 8 papers.
There are
drive.
dudes. I feel sometimes that we're like, people are gonna hate me when I say this, but we're retarded. Like Americans are just dumb, dude. Like these fucks like my nieces overseas. They're like 3 years old. They speak 3 languages.
Mm-hmm.
You know, by the time they're grown, they'll speak 5 or 6 languages, and it's just normal. And Americans like.
Barely speak English.
I know guys that study for like,
I can't even speak English, bro.
I know guys that study for like a year. For that
Yeah,
CDL,
and they don't make
and
it.
like go through like preparatory classes, like a driver's ed. You know,
They pay
like
for it.
6
They
months
pay
to
for a
year.
school.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yes.
Yes, bro. There's a CDL
They give you a
school.
fucking manual.
No, bro.
No.
They send. You can pay for a CDL school, like a college, like a university, to just to pass the test.
Bro, just fucking read the book and fucking send the paper.
Grind some gears and fucking away you go.
God damn.
So you did it.
Yeah, we passed, and I think it was day 4. I sat and I had to reverse double trailers. The first time I ever did it. It was rough. Like that was the
Double trailers.
Double trailer.
I'd fuck that up.
It's not easy.
It would be done, dude.
Obviously, it does the whole snaky thing. So it took me a second to figure that out, where I was turning left and the trailer's going right and then left again. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on here, but okay. So anyway, we figured it out and we got it. Thankfully, the lady that was sitting in the truck next to me, she was super nice.
Yeah.
So she gave me a lot more leeway than I probably should have had.
Might have been a little sweet on you.
I was gonna say.
But yeah, so you had to be within like a
African
foot
accent,
of. You had to be like a foot of the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And I was like a foot and a half or 2 feet. Like the truck and the first trailer were good. The second trailer was kind of like sticking out just a fraction. She's like, we're just gonna pretend like we didn't see that shit. I'm like, sweet. So
Did you have dinner with this lady after?
No.
No.
Now I feel bad. Maybe I should have like bought her dinner or something. So thank you. I was just like, I was so desperate to pass and not fucking go back to the country and be broke. So like, okay, cool. So anyway, I drove trucks from Texas to Montana for nearly 10 months.
No shit.
Yeah, squirreled away like 80-something K.
Mm-hmm.
Paid for my degree.
Which is nothing.
No, it's not that
Nothing.
much.
Yeah.
But it's better than what I had.
Yeah, you were.
So squirreled that all away, and then went.
Real quick, I think that's where, because we get a lot of calls. Like I don't make enough money. Like our low-level offer, I'll just put it out there. Low-level offer for Tier 3, our mentorship program, $2.99.
Yeah, $8 a day. I spend more at Starbucks.
Yeah, and guys are like, I can't afford it.
You can. You just don't have the resources. You don't have the mindset.
Yeah.
You don't have the figure it the fuck out mentality.
Your allocation of funding is a little bit off.
Yeah. Yeah.
The funding you do have, the way you're allocating.
Yeah,
at this current point
you're
in
spending
time,
money on
it's off.
smacking cocktail lattes and mocha chocolate bullshits and
Frappuccinos and
whatever else. You know what I mean? And nonsense.
Doritos.
Netflix subscriptions and
weed.
Yeah, beer, cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Vices. Escape mechanisms.
There's an asshole, and he's not an asshole. I'm just saying he's an asshole because he's making $100,000 on the side driving Uber.
Mm-hmm. But he's hungry.
Yeah.
He's resourceful.
We
had a guy in Battle Ready who he said to me, he was on the call with me, and he's like, dude, I don't have $750. So we do the 3 months for $750.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't have $750. I was like, well, figure it out, bro.
Yeah.
He's like, leave it with me. I'll phone you in 3 days. Anytime, I don't know about any calls you guys have had, no one ever phones back in 3 days.
No,
No,
dude.
that's what I was
This
gonna say. Did he
motherfucker,
actually call
I'm
back?
driving from BK. I'm going back home. My phone rings. I'm like, I'm not expecting a call, but I answer. I'm like, hey, man, what's up? He's like, oh, it's this so-and-so, and I got the $750. I was like, no shit. So what you do? He said, I went onto Facebook Marketplace. I collected all of the stuff in my area that was for free, and I resold it on eBay and Facebook Marketplace. He said, I cleaned it up, I polished it up, I took better photos, and I reposted it. I made $750 in 2.5 days. And I'm phoning you to get on Battle Ready.
How's he doing now?
He fucking finished. He did the 3 months, and he didn't need it again. Because at that point, he already learned such a valuable lesson before he even got on the program, that by the time he got on the program...
The value was before he even joined.
And then afterwards, he's like, bro, I got this. I was like, then run it. Until you have the $12,000 to do the full year of one-on-one with me, like, I don't need to see you again. And he dropped like 25 pounds. He went from like chubby and fluffy to like dick skin abs.
Good for him, man.
Yeah. I was like, run it, dude.
So that's my point is like these guys, they're like we had a guy I'm talking to on Instagram, 44, wanted to join. You know, he's like, I'm really busy, this and that. I got these kids. I got 4 kids. I think he's a high school football coach, or he was like helping with the coaching program or something. And he's like, I don't have the time. And then I gave him he's 445 pounds. So he needs to go like tier 2 one-on-one, right? Because that's like a lot.
He's struggling.
He's like, no, I can't do that. I said, listen, get into tier 3. Let's get you started. Let's get you some macros, some training. Let's get you on the mentorship calls, you know, twice a week, so that you kind of change this. And he goes, I can't afford it. I said,
you can't afford not to, bro.
You're gonna die.
Yeah.
Like this is the reality. You're not gonna live to an old age of life at 445 pounds. Like you're not gonna make it. You're gonna leave your family holding the bag.
Yeah.
And the cost of that is gonna be a lot more than $299, bro. But they're like, no, it's not worth it.
What do you say?
He's gone. And it's like it breaks my heart, because I'm like, I'm watching this guy. I'm like, I just literally just stop conversating with a guy who's gonna die. Like that's it. Like this guy is just going off to die.
He's not gonna make it to 60.
No, not a chance.
No way.
Not a chance.
But then if he can't even afford $299, you bet your ass he hasn't got a fucking life policy in place for his kids and his wife.
Nope.
So now they're going to get hit with like the memorial fees, the burial fees, the cremation fees.
You know about those in America, huh?
The motherfucker doesn't even have $299. How's he going to front all of those?
Not worried about it. Somebody else's problem.
Yeah,
He's a fucking dick.
Right?
He shouldn't have kids and he shouldn't be married.
That's selfish, right?
100%.
Yeah. So anyways, goes back to your thing, like 10 months for 80 grand, like you in studying for CDL in 3 days. That's what I wish that mindset I wish every man had.
I honestly,
even when they have it, even when they have everything, keep the mindset.
For sure. But I think that is a very foreigner mindset.
It is.
Without sounding like a dick.
I tell people all the time, I'm like, you need to think like an immigrant.
Yeah.
If you were an immigrant, what would you do?
Yeah. Because then there's no, there is rules, but there is no rules in that. Like, I will sacrifice sleep. Dude, I don't want to wake up at 2:45 in the morning. But like, I have to. I don't have a choice because I'm fucking busy.
Yeah.
So I wake up at 2:45. I'm in the gym by 3, maybe 3:15 at the latest.
Yeah.
Depends if my dog's a dick or not and fucking takes her time outside.
Cussing at me, or I'm cussing at you.
Right.
About the same
because
time.
you're East Coast, so it's 6 o'clock your time. We're already fighting.
When you're going to the gym, there's times that I go to bed. Not to sound weird, but like I'll go to bed sometimes. I'm like, shit, Byron's going to be up in like 3 hours.
Start blowing you up too. Like, hey, Josh.
Like, I need to go to bed because he's going to be
now
like going to the gym, and he's in a completely different time zone.
Yeah.
But like these guys saying, oh, I don't have the time. You do have time. You're just choosing not to have the time. I don't have the time to work out. I make the time to work out. By 6 o'clock, I want to be home because that's when my daughter, my wife, and my son get up. And I would love to spend an hour to an hour and a half with them before my day really kicks off and I really have to like squirrel myself and hunker down in my office.
Yeah.
So I get 60 to 90 minutes with them before my day kicks off. And then I'm pretty much MIA until 6 p.m. And then I get another 2 hours with them before we shut it down. I get about another hour to 90 minutes with my wife. And then it's 9:30, 10 o'clock, go to bed, rinse, repeat. So we all have 24 hours. It's just, are you utilizing your 24 hours to the best of their ability?
Bullshit.
Or are you just valuing sleep over crushing goals and fucking providing for your family?
Well, there's a lot of other things that are
your actions are actually aligned with your priorities. Right. You're not just saying that it's a priority. Like your actions are following in line in order to, to fulfill that priority. Like rather than just being words. Like you're putting action behind it.
Right. And that's why I check in at 3 o'clock in the morning. So when you log in, you can see like, oh, he is actually at the gym. He's not just pretending.
So you leave. This is your first trip to the U.S.
Oh yeah, we go back there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you left after 10 months. Went back to the UK.
Yes. So went back. Well, I had to go back to South Africa because I couldn't apply for the visa from the UK, and they wouldn't allow me. So they wouldn't allow me to apply from the US, and I couldn't get into the UK to apply for the visa. So I had to go back to South Africa. And then one of my mom's family friends, she housed me for like 3 weeks, did the visa, all of that stuff. And then I flew back to the UK.
Because South Africa to UK is not that difficult.
No, it's 14-hour flight, but it's like straight up.
No,
There's
no,
time zone
no.
difference.
As far as like visa and
Oh no, it's fucking horrible.
is it the same as the US?
Dude, I've spent more money on visas than most people have ever spent on anything else in their entire life. I honestly think I'm at about $250,000 in visa fees and immigration lawyers.
And he's married to an American right now, and he's still dealing with it.
Dude, I'm about to have to fork out like 15 grand for another fucking visa.
Even though you're married?
Yeah, immigration lawyer fees, and then the actual visa and the paperwork that goes with it. Because what they've done now...
I thought you got married. I thought that the whole purpose of getting married to her was just to
get the citizenship.
just to get a visa.
No, that was like a byproduct and it was like a benefit, but no, I actually love her. Like, she's a good person. Like, I want to spend my life with her. she's the mother of my kids. Yeah, he's like trying to set me up for failure. He's going to clip this piece specifically.
Clip that out.
And then he's going to post that and like, tag her. And then it's going to be like, oh, Byron just got married for a fucking visa and save himself $250,000. Yeah, this is what's up. I know how this works. Fucking the magic of Mario over here. Mario, you're at 24 months for your fucking tattoo, bro. But
So anyways, it's not that easy to get back to the UK.
No, and it's also because if you even fill out like one line wrong, they can reject you. And then as soon as you've got a visa rejection on your record, good luck. Everywhere else will just like auto.
So you make it back though?
Yeah, we got back into the UK. We did the degrees.
How long did that take?
I compressed my degrees. So it should have taken 4 years.
It's supposed to take a year for a CDL. You do it in 3 days.
It was supposed to be a 4-year degree. I did it in 18 months.
No shit.
Yeah, I went to the dean's office and I'm like, hey man, I don't need 6 months of holiday a year. So how do we do this where I can
You're like,
get done a little bit
motherfucker, I'm
quicker?"
African.
Bro, no, I just don't have the resources. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I'm already sleeping in a fucking car because I can't afford to live in London. I underestimated the prices of London. And I'm like, bro, I can't do this for 4 years. So figure something out. So he like gave me some extra classes and he wiggled some stuff around. So 18 months
That's solid.
Yeah.
That's solid.
No, he's a good dude.
Yeah.
The catch was that I had to play cricket for the university. I've got fractured back in twice in 2 places. So I played. I'm like, well, that's the shit sandwich I have to eat, so I'm going to do it. So I just limited my shots.
I was gonna say,
I
how was
didn't
your
do any
performance?
crossbody stuff. I just played straight lines, bro. I just like...
So did you perform, like, did you not?
I broke every record the school had.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I finished the season. You don't know anything about batting averages and stuff like that, but finished the season with like...
shit.
I know I know baseball. I don't know cricket averages.
I finished the season with like 185 batting average. I just didn't bowl for them because that would have really fucked me up. But I stood
And they knew your situation and they were down with it?
He just said, as long as you turn up and you play and you deliver, I will deliver for you. So
What'd the medics and docs think on the team?
Oh, I didn't tell them fuck all. They don't need to know what they don't need to know. But one thing I've learned, because this is what I did, like I tried to join the British military in this whole process as well. And I was too honest on my application to where they found out that I had multiple knee surgeries and I fractured my back twice in 2 places. The amount of hoops they tried to make me run through and jump through just because they now knew that I was a potential risk, I realized that as soon as like there's a limit to how honest you need to be with people.
Less information is more.
Like, hey man, until you see something that's really fucked, then we'll worry about it. But until then, like, I'm gonna run the play because I need this play to work.
Yeah.
So I didn't tell the medics, I didn't tell the physics, I didn't tell any of them anything. We just played and we played in straight lines. Limit the amount of like rotations.
You're good.
Yeah, we broke records. He actually gave me my MBA for free if I played another season. And then I did it's a 5-year MBA. Again, I did it in like 18 months.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I did every single weekend for 18 months. I went and sat in lecture halls.
That's why you look so old.
Yeah.
Byron's tired.
Between that and the 2:45 a.m. wake ups, bro, I'm going gray. I found another gray hair in my beard here. I'm fucking 34 years old. This is some bullshit.
So anyways, you
Graduated. In the process of doing that, I landed my first consulting gig after 300 interviews. I went to 300 interviews, and every single interview I didn't meet the criteria for something. So, oh, you don't know how to code, you don't know how to write macros, you don't know how to do this, you don't know how to do that. No, I don't. Sorry, you can't apply. Okay. So before my next interview, I just downloaded like a course. I became like just a student of the game.
Yeah.
And
YouTube certified?
How many?
Everything. I've got more degrees than a thermometer.
How many people just go like 10 interviews and they go,
No, dude. I've got a folder and it reminds me because it's a folder on my email of 300 rejection emails. And when I feel like quitting, I go to that folder and I just read them all. And it reminds me that, fuck, bro, I could have quit at 295 or 297. And everything would be different. I went home one weekend and I think my mom invited me back home. She was living in Cambridge with my dad. I think she invited me back because she knew I was fucking struggling. And I was like pissed. I was like a bratty little teenager, pissed off about life and things not going according to plan. And my dad's like, you're pissed because you've been rejected 100 times. Like, that's pussy shit. He's like, get the fuck out of your own way, bro. Even if it's another 100, are you dead? I'm like, no. He's like, so keep fucking going. Do you want this? I said, yes. He's like, then keep fucking going. What are you bitching about?
So you
Bitching's not going to help
you.
you.
So you had a solid dad in your corner then.
Oh, yeah, he's solid.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, I felt like I was never good enough. He constantly wanted me to do more. I could go and walk onto a field and I'd score 187. Like most people have never scored over 100 in their life playing cricket. Like 150 is like, wow, this guy's good. I would score like 187. My dad's like, yeah, but it's not 200.
So how do you balance that as far as like, as now as a father, not to pivot away from the story too much, but how do you balance that now as a father going, there's a level of that's good and there's a level of that's bad?
So I think you get to a point though where as a kid, I didn't realize what he was doing.
Yeah.
But as an adult, I see so much value in what he was doing.
Yeah.
Because as an adult, I realized that there is so much more that you can give. There's so many more levels and so many more.
Yeah, but
players.
how do you not crush their self-worth as a child?
That's a good question. I don't know if I've mastered that one yet. Because
you're going to kill your 8-year-old, right?
Some days I want to kick him down the stairs. I'm not going to lie, he's a fucker. But no, he's a good kid. He just doesn't try.
Yeah.
He probably tries in his head, but I know, I think maybe it's because we're in this coaching space. You can see potential.
Yeah.
The dude's fucking clever.
Yeah.
Like Nick, so clever, dude. And he just does enough. And I'm like, imagine if you did just more than enough. Imagine.
I'm going through that right now with one of my daughters, like the oldest one. Like her.
Oh my God, she's
ridiculous.
She's a ninja, bro.
Super intelligent. Like could be good at probably any sport she would play. Probably got that from me. Not to toot my own, but I mean, I see her. She just got on a volleyball team, and I'm watching. I know fucking nothing about volleyball, but I know things about human performance, right?
Sure.
Sports, and I know a lot of stuff about her, and I see that in her. Just that extra little bit. It's like they hold back.
Yeah, it's like an insecurity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
like they're like, what if I fail?
Part of
like
where some of that
if I
belief
go all
goes.
in and I drop it.
Who cares?
And that's what I tell her. I'm like, who cares? Like, leave it all in the corner.
Send it.
You figure out a way that didn't work.
Full fucking
and then you
send.
come again tomorrow and you try again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he will do just enough. And I'm like, bro, just enough is not enough. Because we've played this game for long enough to where I know if I turn up and I do just good, I'm never going to be good.
No, you're just
I'm
going to
going to be just okay.
You're going to get average results.
Correct. I'm not okay with average.
No, I'm not.
I can show up and be the best fucking me that I can be every single day. I can shoot for excellence, and I'll be lucky to be good.
Right.
And that's me shooting for excellence.
But you overshoot every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
It's like if I'm going to punch you in the face, I'm going to try and punch the back of your head, not the front of your head.
Yeah, I'm going to pass.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but that's the point. It's the same kind of theory. It's that, dude, you want to go beyond because...
Yeah, Mario said he wanted to do pupil sticks with you after this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
it'll be fun.
The regret on the backside, though, when you know that you did not push yourself or go to that next level in your mind in the moment, you're thinking, I probably should. I have a little bit more in my tank. I can go a little bit harder, go a little bit more.
I didn't leave it all on the field.
But for whatever you reserve it, and then after the game or after the match, you look back on it and you're like, fuck. You might have lost the game or something. Like, man, what if I would
I hate that what if.
Push that,
But I think that's a sport thing too. The whole what if, where you're like, dude, if I had only just tried a little harder in the week. There was many weeks where I didn't want to hit 1,000 balls a day. And then you'd tap out and you'd be like, yeah, my dad would be like, did you do your work? Yes, Dad. I didn't do my fucking work. I hit 500 and I said I hit 1,000 or whatever. And then that weekend rolls in.
Your performance.
And something goes wrong. And you're like, dude, what if I had just done the 500 more?
Would
it have made a difference, or was this the path that it was on?
Yeah.
But there's no way of knowing. And then you're left with the what if. It's like I can't play that game anymore. It's like people are like, oh, why are you going so hard on your training for this show in December? because I can't afford to have a what if situation. I'm not going to be on stage and be the guy that goes, I wish I had just done 1 more hour in the gym.
Yeah.
1 more hour of cardio.
Yeah.
Meal prep just 1 more day. Not had that donut.
Yeah.
Some of those what ifs I think could be a good thing.
Sure.
If you catch them early enough and you don't roll 1 what if into like multiple, that's every time you do something, right? But that's how you learn a little bit of that strive and drive mechanism.
Yeah.
Is that you have some of those failures where you did reserve back and then you're wondering what if, and you're like, okay, never, or not next time, I will not do it. But if you keep rolling them into one after another, then you're fucked.
Spiral. That's problematic. It's a snowball.
What so you get after 300 rejections, you get your job.
Yeah.
What's the job?
Business analyst. Basically, I got the job by accident. I started like veering off topic completely about macros and writing code and Excel spreadsheets and stuff. And the guy's like, we have like none of that going on right now, but I like the way you think. He's like, so you're
Did
very
you know how to do any of this?
School of
That's
YouTube.
that accelerated degree where that comes into play.
Yeah, I mean, I knew the concept, but I had never had to do it in practice, in real life.
Yeah.
I had always just learned from a book. So I was just like, at this point, man, I'm just saying what I know the buzzwords are. I've set 300 interviews, Nick. Like, I know what I'm fucking doing. I've got sets.
I can
and
interview
reps.
like a motherfucker.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, there's no one else that's applying for this job that's had more sets and reps than I have. Let's be honest. So I'm feeling pretty good about this.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, he's asking me about some other stuff, and I'm like, yes, but have you thought about this, that, and the other? Because at the time as well, what I was doing was I was working at a courier company, like the guys that drive packages around, and I helped that guy scale his business. So all the shit I was learning in my books at university, I was taking back to him, and I'm like, hey man, what if we did this? And I was learning real time what worked in books and what worked in reality.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was sitting in this interview and he's giving me these concepts of what he wants to do, I'm like, to be fair, I've done that. It's in a different format, in a different setting, but we've done that and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But we do this and this works.
Yeah.
Like, don't try and win new business. Get more business from the people you already have.
Yeah.
And it was those kind of concepts. So I'm like, well, what we're going to do is we're going to track all the data. We're going to understand this. We're going to understand that. And then we're going to like extrapolate the data out, pivot tables and blah, blah, blah. And I sound fancy as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And the dude's like, I didn't think of any of that shit. He's like, okay, you start on Monday. I'm like, dope. So first consulting gig, I landed $150 a day. I'm like, baller, bro. I'm so pumped. Until about 3 weeks in, I realized that I was being charged out by another company. They were charging me out at $500 a day and then paying me $150. So they're making like fuck you money off of me, and they didn't do anything. I'm the one bleeding and sweating and dying in the trenches here in the school of YouTube trying to figure out a lot of this shit I promised this fucking guy. And like, the pivot tables aren't working like they're supposed to, and the graphs are not printing, and the macros are not writing correctly, and I'm like fucking sweating it out. I'm like, I'm gonna figure this shit out. So anyway.
Did you?
Of course I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I automated like a whole back end of this whole reporting cycle that went from needing like 50 people and like multiple
this was the first
points.
job where you basically let go, because of you, a bunch of people got fired.
Yes. So like 50 people no longer needed their job, and then the bank got sold to another bank shortly thereafter, and I was responsible for firing like 150 people in a day. It was rough. It was like, but I just went into killing turkey mode.
Was it justified?
Well, we didn't need him.
There you go, justified.
So the first one was hard, second one not so hard. But the fucking 10th person, it's like, hey man, you don't work here anymore. You have like good luck.
Who actually let these people go?
Me.
You actually let them go. Like you
I was responsible for having conversations. So they set up 4 different meeting rooms. I was in one of my mentors was in the other, and then the head of the program was in one, and then like the CFO was in the other.
And they were just round robin.
And it was just like, we have like 600 people, and we're just gonna send them to you, and you're just gonna let them go. I'm like, why the fuck am I responsible for this?
Is that like an HR thing?
No, well, it probably should have been, but my mentor's name was David, like a killer cutthroat guy. And he's like, you can do it. He's like, I believe in you, you can do this.
I mean, you are a bird serial killer.
Right.
It's the same thing.
It's a similar kind of concept. Yeah. But I mean, over and above that, like
first one's hard, second one's hard.
Third one, not so hard.
now you're just slitting throats.
Fuck out of here, bro. So yeah, it was like, there is a little bit more emotion because now you're playing with people's livelihoods and shit like that. But you just become desensitized to it. I'm sure in the military you guys get to a point as well where you just desensitize, you just turn off to it.
Unfortunately.
Like, this is life now. This is what we do. So similar kind of concept. David's like, hey man, I know how you can operate. You've proven to me in the last 8 months that you're a savage and you're going places. So this is the next step in the chain of events for you, in that you need to know how to hire and you need to know how to fire. So I'm about to put you in fucking the firing line and you're going to get a year's worth of experience in fucking 4 hours. Good luck.
Wow.
So good for him. Like
this became, after you left that place, this became you.
Yes.
You were the guy that came into financial institutions.
And I cleaned house.
And you cleaned house.
Yeah.
With their systems and processes.
Yeah. So I exponentially increased my own income very, very quickly. I went from $150 a day to $500 a day to $750 a day and beyond. And then, in that process of like getting picked up in the Rolls Royces and going out for shark fin soup and stupid shit like that, lost me completely.
So let's fast forward. So what was the time frame between you getting hired from the YouTube University and figuring that job out to essentially your about to be your demise? Like, where were you at financially? What was your lifestyle like before you just completely nuked it?
So it was three and a half years, maybe 4 years. And it was obviously $150 a day to very high six figures, very high six figures, to the point where I had penthouse suites in London, cinema room, Audi R8 in the garage that I drove like once or twice a month because it's fucking London.
You don't drive?
Skateboarding is faster, so I'd skateboard around London. Cinema room, all the cool toys. And
driving range in your house.
Yeah, 47 floors up, standing on my balcony, thinking I should double backflip and frog splash pavements. And then didn't have the minerals.
Why? Like, you'd think that you've worked so hard to get all there, to get all of that, to achieve that level of success.
Yeah.
And here you are, ready to just at 30 years old, just
you had it all. Right?
Yeah, but you don't.
Yeah.
Because on paper, that's what I thought success was. But when I actually took a step back from all of it and I looked at exactly who I was, how I was showing up, like my role in life, my responsibility, no one's life anywhere on earth was better for me being alive. Like your life was actually worse off than me being alive made your life worse. Because I was so good at taking money out of your pocket and putting it in the bank's pocket that would inevitably come back to me, that you were fucked because I was around.
Because your existence.
Yes.
Yeah.
And everyone else that was associated.
Your existence on this earth makes my life worse.
Horrible. Yeah. And when you start playing that game and you're running those numbers, and then you're in meetings where guys are literally talking about like, okay, well, we're going to run this play. Yes, like 10,000 people could potentially default on their house, but that's actually good for us because if they lose their house, we get their house and then we resell it on and we turn a profit. And you're justifying to yourself how that's perfectly okay. You know that something's not okay. Especially when, like, you think about the fact that they've got a wife and kids and. Like, they could have a fucking dog too. And, like, now all of them are fucked.
With all that internal, like, diving in that you were doing, was there, like, a singulatory event? I mean, obviously there was many of them that led up to it, but was there, like, a capstone of, like, a singular event or a thing?
I don't know I think it was like a multitude of things, but the main thing, and I wish I could remember whose podcast I was listening to at the time, but he said, would the 7-year-old you be proud of the version you are today? I wish I could remember who it was because I need to give that guy a lot of credit because he literally saved my life. But I realized that the 7-year-old me would not want to grow up. 300 pounds, fats, I already gave the laundry list of what was going wrong. And it's like, dude, no one's life is better for me being here. If I actually died today, everyone would be better for it. And then that, plus the fact that I'm in a loveless relationship, I have no real friends. Like, everyone that's around me is around me for the good times, not because they actually give a fuck about me. And a multitude of other things. It was like, dude, maybe I should just do the backflips. And then I'm standing and I'm like, I don't have the balls to jump. That was literally the defining factor. Like, I didn't have the balls to do it. So then, like, a couple weeks later, I'm like plotting in my head, like, how do we finish this? So I ended up in the bathtub, a nice hot bath, and I put, when you donate blood, they put a needle in your vein here. Yep. So I just did that, and I was sitting in the bathtub, and I'm like, okay, well, this is it. It's been a fun ride, and I had like a bit of an out of body experience where I saw myself from a different angle, And I was like, this is how your mom's going to see you. So this is the last thing your mom and dad are going to see. Your sister's going to be witness to this too. Is this really how it ends? Would the 7-year-old you be excited to be 28 years old, dead in a bathtub, having bled out? It's like, no. So what are we going to do about it? Like, you can't. This can't be the finish line. I can't have peaked at 28 years old. Something's got to change. Like, dude, I'm a baby.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, I'm a baby. And I had never been more depressed, more anxious, more miserable. I lived in a fucking car for 8 months, Nick, and I was happier then than I was in a fucking penthouse with the
After
Audi
you worked
R8
and got all the things.
and all the cool shit.
Yeah.
And then that was like, I thought that when I made it financially, everything was good. And then it didn't live up to that. And I based so much of my core beliefs on that outcome that when it didn't play out how I imagined it in my head, that was like a breaking point. And then it's like, okay, well, if we don't like who we are, we created this monster, so we can create a new monster. So January 1st, 2019, I said, I'm going to be the best mental and physical shape of my life by the end of the year. Before that, it was always money. I'm going to make $1 million. I'm going to make, my take home is going to be over $700,000 or whatever the case might be. And that was the first time I made a goal that wasn't finance or owning a car.
It was an internal,
it was for me.
one. Yeah.
I was so busy trying to please everyone else and try and like show that I was amazing to everyone else. And I'd literally give you the shirt off my back if you needed it, but at my own demise all the time. And that was the first time I set a goal that was like, I'm going to look after number one for the first time ever. And then no surprise that all of a sudden RTA Syndicate came around. I joined that. I started getting healthier, fitter, stronger, making better food choices and all of that stuff, working on my mindset. And then Bedros was on Andy Frisella's podcast. Listened to that and I'm like, I like this guy. He's got some good stuff to say. So I started following B and then saw his content about the MDK project. Texted him or DM'd him, sorry. Hey, how do I become part of this? It looks like it's an American thing. Do you guys take other people? He's like, if you can afford it and you make the cut, sure. So applied, had my consulting call, and I know how those go, where they're like, oh, we're going to see if you're a candidate. I'm like, bro, I've got money. Like, you'll take my money. I don't give a fuck what the price point is. Like, take my money. So anyway, they did the whole like, oh, we're going to phone you back in 10 minutes and the takeaway close.
How much were you, what was your weight? Like, what was your physical stature at the time that you applied?
It was about 2.5 or 3 months before the project. I did the project at 180, so I was probably about 200, 210.
210. So you'd already dropped a ton of weight.
Yeah. Completely different animal.
Okay.
To the point where I became a threat in the bank. And like when I stepped into boardrooms, all of a sudden there was a presence and people didn't like it. Because I was no longer the guy who was going to do whatever the fuck you told me to do.
The fat guy. You were more confident. You were feeling better.
I was walking in there and I was
still
like,
not liking your life though.
No, but I had done the work to justify that I belonged there. And I did the pre-work on every single meeting to be like, I know my shit and I'm about to fucking let you guys have it.
Yeah.
So I would walk into a room and I'd ruffle feathers. So already like, I mean, there's no surprise. I was head to head with the COO and a bunch of other people. This is what I do now.
Yeah.
Byron's a track record of that. But yeah, head to head with a lot of like top guys and whatever. And it was just like, I don't give a fuck. So about 210, back and forth with B. Got into the MDK project, ramped up my training massively. Trained 3 days a week, every day for almost 3 months. Or 3 times a day, every day for 3 months. Cleaned up my nutrition to the point where it was like fucking impeccable. Did the project at 180, probably single digit body fats. And then graduated. I spent an extra week here. So I went to Malibu and I was like, at graduation dinner, I said, I'm moving to California. And everyone kind of laughed around the table. I'm like, you motherfuckers don't know what you've just done. You've cemented the fact that I'm moving to California. So I extended my stay for a week, drove around Malibu, Calabasas, and I was like plotting where I was going to live and whatever. And then, I finished the project middle of November. By December 17th, I was back with a suitcase to start again.
And you left everything, the money, the cars, the penthouse, everything.
Gave it all away.
Gave it all away, started over. Broke again.
Not broke, but I had put enough aside to where I could live a year like if I was smart. because I know how to make money. At this point, I know how to make money.
Yeah.
So worst case scenario, I would be fine. The real issue, I'm not going to lie to you, is I came over on a visitor visa. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to stick around. I'm gonna cross that bridge when I get there.
And how long was the visitor visa?
6 months.
6 months?
Yeah.
And you met your wife when?
I see what you're doing. I met my wife like 5 months, and then we got married about a year into our relationship.
Yeah.
I see what you're doing. Well played, sir. But no. So actually, I was applying for a different visa, and then that one didn't kind of work out.
But you ended up getting a work visa because you ended up becoming, working here.
Yeah, and then I pivoted my work visa to the relationship visa with my wife shortly thereafter.
Excellent.
Yeah, and then the rest is history. Been fucking crushing since, but yeah, dude, I knew that if I went back to the UK, I would fall back into those habits, and I would lose the mindsets and everything that I had built and worked so hard for. And I was like, I can't do that.
Well, you're going to be out in North Carolina. We'll do another podcast in the studio, but so that's a good intro. But now we're in the Agoge all together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like because of my involvement in the Squire program, being an instructor for the MDK, it just made sense that because you guys had Battle Ready, we had the Agoge,
It's a similar monster, just two different faces.
Yeah, I'd rather just join.
Yeah, we were like a hydra.
Marry them together.
Yeah. Yep. And just join and crush men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and just try and kill their excuses.
Dude, it's like it kills me. It kills me. I just want to. It goes back to that whole thing of seeing potential. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I just want to shake them. I just want you are super badass.
Yes.
Just fucking do it.
You know what it is though, and I worked this out the other day. It's that people always think it's a strategy. It's not the strategy. So the strategy is a micro piece.
We were talking about this before the podcast in there that there's people that ask an absorbent amount of questions, thinking that they're going to find this this secret that I have, that you have, that Josh has, that B has, that made this whole thing happen. It's like we don't know. There isn't the thing. There isn't this one thing that we know that we're keeping a secret from you to be successful. There isn't.
Well, no, but we do know something that we don't buy into, which is the fact that we don't fucking live our limiting beliefs. So at no point when a limiting belief shows up do I go, oh, that could be potentially an okay thing for me to settle into. No. I'm like, fuck you.
But it's that consistent work over a long period of time.
Yeah, to shatter said limiting belief. So any single time I'm like, oh, I couldn't possibly do this, I run it at 500 miles an hour.
Right.
And I'm like, and I'm going to prove that I can do it. It's like when, just in that squat rack right there, I think I told you this story when we said we put body weights on a squat bar.
Yeah.
It's like, how many reps could you do? And I was like, maybe 16, maybe 18. 68 reps later or 67 reps later, we're still going. And I was prepared to tap out at 16 or 18 reps. And now if you can do that there, where else is that showing up in your life?
Yeah.
And so many guys will just pull the ripcord and they will stop when they think they're done and not be actually done. Like if you had told this version of Nick that you would have amassed what you've done in the last 18 months ago, you'd be like, I don't know, bro.
That's a stretch.
Yeah, we're shooting above our pay grade right now. This is a big deal. But you just ran at it, and you ran the play, and at every stopping point, you just learn something new, and you keep moving forward, and you learn something new, and you keep moving forward.
Yeah, we talked about this, last 18 months, with essentially no capital, just working the plan, literally no capital. I mean, I think maybe all in all, 10 grand or something like that. Real estate portfolio is up 6 times fold.
Right. Because you believed that you could do it, and you ran the fucking play.
Well, and I borrowed other people's belief.
Sure.
So
they did it.
Guys like Jeff, guys like the people that I know. I'm like, they're like, you can do this. I'm like, if you say because I trust you, if you say that I can do it, I'm going to borrow that and I'm going to run the play.
Yeah.
And then net worth up 6 times, 6-fold.
Easy.
Yeah.
The belief factor. So I pulled out a Tupperware. It's been sitting in storage for a long time. And I'm going through it, trying to clean house, and I find this T-shirt from when I was a kid, like high school days, I think. Baseball T-shirt, and on the bottom, and it was our motto that I had lived with since I was probably 5 when I started, but it was indoctrinated with me all the way up and through high school, and then we had it on our T-shirts: no excuses, no regrets. I was fucking taught that from a 5, 6-year-old kid. And I fully believed it. I bought into it 100%. Like, that's why I strive and drive so hard to play my sports, to do my thing. And I'm going through it. My daughter looked at me and she's like, can I start wearing that to practice? She's like, that's all you need.
Sounds like we need to print some shirts.
I'm like, that's all you need. Like, don't make any excuses, and therefore you won't have any regrets.
Right.
Give it your best, give it your all, every time, no matter what, and you won't have to regret anything. You won't have to have that what if that we were talking about before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This simple saying, I was indoctrinated. Like, now that I think about it, from such a young age, and it carried me through all my sports and all my life. And I didn't say it all the time, but it was back here.
Yeah.
It was that thing that I was always had and harnessed and believed.
Well, that's a good place to end it. We got to jump on a Agoge mentorship call. Guys, no excuses, no regrets. Time to jump in there. The link's below. Go follow Byron, go follow Josh. If you like being just, I don't know, what's the word?
Elevated. Okay.
Yelled at,
assaulted.
Yeah, assaulted on a daily basis. If you want to be assaulted on a daily basis, please follow Byron on Instagram. He will just tell you why you can do better and all the reasons that you're sucking.
But I'll give you the plan of how to fix it.
You give the plan. Yeah.
I'm just aggressive in my delivery.
Yeah, and I think you get away with it because of the accent.
Yes, and tonality.
Yeah, it's good. So anyways, guys, go thumbs up this podcast, drop us a review, and if you screenshot it, share it out to your friends. We'll appreciate that. And please tag all of us so we can do the same. And other than that, you guys know the deal. Never quit, never surrender, always forward. We'll see you guys next time.